health and wealth are flowing your way. Today is designated as Mother's Day here, and everyone is buying flowers or gifts for their mothers and wives. I'd like to say thank you to all the dear and hardworking mothers of the world and wish them happiness. Last weekend, we went to my mother-in-law's house to celebrate Mother's Day with her. As a gift, she gave us a bag of wild greens for making a herb frittata, called tare in Persian, and a bottle of premium organic olive oil. And I decided to share the recipe for this local and very old dish with you. I'll also tell you a story while we cook. My grandfather is a tall, thin man. He's about 1.9 meters tall, very thin, almost 100 years old, and still on his feet, doing everything for himself. My grandmother, unlike my grandfather, is a short, plump woman, about 80 years old. Out of 8 pregnancies, only 4 of her children survive. My grandfather has a lot of farmland and he farms and raises livestock. They always eat fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and fresh meat from his garden. They eat fresh and healthy food throughout the year. During summer vacations, when schools were closed, we would go to my grandfather's house. One day, my grandmother made spinach stew for lunch, and my siblings and I protested that we didn't like spinach stew and she should make something else for us. My grandfather arrived, and when he saw us sulking about the food, he said, "Come and sit down, let me tell you a story." He said, in ancient times, the regional chief, who was a wealthy man, ordered his cook to make him a vegetable omelette with wild herbs or spinach. It was winter, and everywhere was covered in snow, and no grass or plants could be found on the ground. The poor cook went to the forest and searched for wild plants, but he found nothing. When he was utterly exhausted, his whole body numb from the cold, he sat down on the ground in despair. Suddenly, he saw a few leaves on a plum tree, trembling in the icy breeze. Plum trees always have a couple of small, fresh leaves at the end of their branches, even in winter. It suddenly occurred to him that he could make a stew for his master with these leaves. So he began to pick the small leaves from the plum branch. He took the leaves to the kitchen, made a stew with them, and served it to his master. When the master ate the stew, he was astonished. He was delighted with the deliciousness of the food and appreciated his cook, giving him a coin. When I was a teenager, I used to go to the forest with my sister, who is 2 years older than me, and my cousin, who is 3 years older than me, to gather wild herbs. This food is cooked in many of our ceremonies and celebrations, and my sister and I were responsible for doing this. It has always been precious to me, and now, almost 30 years later, I still make this food with love for my family and my sons. My dear friends, you can eat this delicious food with full-fat yogurt, butter, Kate rice, and salted fish. It will be a delicious dinner or lunch. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you like, subscribe to my channel, leave me a message, and like my posts. Thank you.